In today's show, it's a show I do every year. It's explaining the origins and meanings of the sound drops and the nicknames. People ask for it all the time. We're going to do it right now. Maybe we'll even explain why Michael Bolton's here. But he's here, so let's do it.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com and at Yahoo Sports Australia. And you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_Beeble and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline is where the game starts. So, thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Summer League just wrapped up. The Blazers won the title. Great, they get their rings. We will talk about Summer League and break it down during this week. But today, it's a show that I do annually. People will always cycle back to this one because there's always new people watching. And you might have heard this stuff before, but hopefully it's just a little bit of fun in a period where it's a pretty down period for fantasy basketball. There's not a huge amount of stuff happening at the moment. And that is breaking down the origins and meanings of nicknames and sounds that I do use on this show. So, this is how we start the show.
Let's get it on, Gilly.
All right, so what's that sound? That's Shane Warne, who Australian cricket and world cricket legend who died last year. It's just, I don't know, it's just something that was like a trending sound after the first ball of the Ashes cricket series between Australia and England last season. I just thought it was funny, and it's a great way to transition into the show, and that's where we're at. In terms of transitioning into the show, why is Michael Bolton here every show? First question, is that Michael Bolton? Yes, it is really Michael Bolton. Why is Michael Bolton here? Well, back at the origins of the show, 3,000 episodes ago, I would start the show and, all right, let's get to it. That's what I'd say, hey, it's Josh Lloyd, fantasy, blah, blah, blah. Yep, let's get to it. And what would automatically ring in my head was the Lonely Island song, Jack Sparrow, where at the start of that, Michael Bolton says,
let's get to it.
Which is exactly where I ripped that part off from. So I used to just play that in my head. I go, man, this is, every time I'm saying it, I feel like Michael Bolton. So I got that cut out of the song and played that part. And then I was like, man, it'd be great if I could get Michael Bolton onto the show to record something. And I was browsing Cameo one day, and there it is, Michael Bolton. He's here for 3 days only to raise money for his charity. And I went, all right, I'm going to send a request and see if he'll do it. Mick did it, and that's where that comes from. It's great to have him to do it. Yes, it was a cameo. I don't know Michael Bolton, but that is Michael Bolton. That is actually him. I've got the video of him doing it here as well. And that's it. That's Michael Bolton. So that's the explanation for that. I'm just going to go down my soundboard and explain what these are. Some of them we don't hear all that often, but I'm sure you know what this one is.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
It's Sheev Palpatine from the Star Wars prequels. All right, so why do I play that one for Harrison Barnes? Actually, we'll talk about Harrison Barnes in general. Why is Harrison Barnes the pencil? Why do I say the pencil, Harrison Barnes? Barnesy. And then play that song. Okay, a couple of things. Let's talk about the pencil part of it. Harrison Barnes' initials are HB. Everywhere else in the world, apart from the US, the most standard sort of pencil is called an HB pencil. In the US, you call it a number 2 pencil. Apart from, I believe, in certain like architectural schools and things like that where you call it HB pencil. So, initials HB, nearly everyone else in the world, the first thing they'll hear when they hear the initials HB is pencil. So, Harrison Barnes is the pencil. And then there was that meme, you would have seen the meme, the screaming cowboy up in the clouds meme, and that is what that sound is. Well, that guy screaming in the clouds is Australian rock legend Jimmy Barnes. Barnesy. So, Barnesy, Harrison Barnes. This is before Scotty Barnes entered the league. Otherwise, Harrison could have remained the pencil and Scotty Barnes could have been this guy. But this is all Harrison Barnes. Alec Burks.
Alec Berg.
That's just Jerry Seinfeld saying Alec Berg, who was like a recurring character on the show, and they'd always say his name that way. Isaiah Stewart. I know that people like to call him Beef Stew, which is honestly actually one of the worst nicknames I've ever heard in my life. Or Beef Stew. It's a horrendous nickname, and it should be banned ever. I'll never say that nickname again. So I call him Alf, right? Or the Flamin' Galah, because there is a character on an Australian soap opera called Home and Away, iconic, called Alf Stewart. Stewart, Isaiah, Alf. And he always says things like,
Is that you, Mr. Stewart?
Well, who the hell else do you think it'd be? Get in here, you pair of flaming galahs.
so the Flamin' Galah, Isaiah Stewart.
All right, that's good stuff.
I don't play that one very often. I should play it more. That's just Warwick Kappa being an idiot. Bam Adebayo. This is the song from Bam Bam Bigelow from the WWE.
Bam, 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 bam.
All right, you know this one. It's an absolute banger. Nikola Jokic. So Big Chungus is a meme that was like from this random 1 second clip from a Bugs Bunny cartoon where he blew himself up into this big fat version of himself. This is before Jokic lost a little bit of weight, but he was always like this big chunky sort of a guy. And then Big Chungus, people memed it into a PlayStation game, and you just search Big Chungus and you'll see it. And then someone made a song which is available on Spotify, the Big Chungus song. So that's all it is. So Big Chungus was a meme for people who are like bigger, and it was based on this weird Looney Tunes cartoon where Bugs Bunny inflated himself to look bigger. That's what that was.
Big Shaq.
Big Shaq. I used that for Shaq Harrison. Big Shaq was a fake English rapper who sung Man's Not Hot. That's all that is. Lou Dort. You know that I play the Bort license plate clip?
Because he's my...
Oh, no, I don't. I hit the wrong button. Let's do Bort now.
No, my son is also named Bort.
I did have a much longer version. They're like 12 seconds. It's just too long of a clip. Bort, that's from The Simpsons when Bart is at Itchy and Scratchy Land and he's looking for a Bart license plate, and all I can see is Bort ones. This is Jimmy Butler's one.
Because he's my butler.
It's from Seinfeld, where Seinfeld is in the show creating the show called Jerry, and it's the whole story of someone crashes into his car and doesn't have insurance, so the judge orders him to become his butler, and then Jerry's friends are all trying to get the butler to do things for them, and Jerry says no. All right, the Rabbit Hunter, Alex Caruso. He looks like Elmer Fudd, another Looney Tunes character. So that's what we play this one for.
Be very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
Jordan Clarkson. There was an interview. Someone in Utah went to the streets and were asking things. I don't even remember what the questions were, but they were like going up there. Yeah, here we're talking to John Smith. What do you think about this? And yeah, I think this. And they go up, and it was Jordan Clarkson. And they ask him the question, and at the end of the interview, they go, "All right, we're going to put your name at the bottom. What's your name?" And he goes, "It's Jordan Clarkson." Like, how do you spell it?
JordanClarkson.
They didn't recognize who he was, and they had to ask him how to spell his name, and that's what that is. I don't play this one that often, but when we're talking about Steve Kerr,
You can call me Coach Steve.
that's from Big Mouth. The Sly Hog, Cade Cunningham. This is from Austin Powers.
My name is Richie Cunningham.
Now, this guy's not in the NBA anymore, unfortunately, but Gabrielle Deck. This is from a fake New Zealand ad about stain for a wooden deck. And when you say deck in a New Zealand accent, it sounds like dick.
I could barely recognize my own dick.
Because that's all that is. What's this one?
I am going to drop a deuce on everybody.
All right, so that's for Juice McBride, and that is from The Office. That's Michael Scott talking about that. David Duke, two-way guy for the Nets, probably should be on a roster somewhere in the NBA. This is from Office Space, where, coincidentally, the character's name is Michael Bolton, and people are giving him crap because his name's Michael Bolton, and he's like,
Why should I change? He's the one who sucks.
David Duke, of course, was the leader of the KKK. And, not a great name to have. I wouldn't have thought. We'll get into more of these in just a sec, but it is time for me to tell you about BetOnline, the number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews and news, including Major League Baseball, which is going on right at the moment. BetOnline also has odds up for the NFL season already. You want to have a look at odds for the December 11th game between the Eagles and the Giants? I know you're eagerly awaiting that game. The Eagles are 3-point favorites on BetOnline. If you want to go through to November the 13th and the Seahawks and the Buccaneers, the Bucs are 9.5-point favorites. That's a big margin. I know the Seahawks are going to be trash. Shout out to Drew Lock. But the Buccaneers are 9.5-point favorites there. But whatever sport you're looking for, whatever information, BetOnline's going to have it. Sports scores, podcasts, and news, everything's there. And it's the fastest and easiest way to check in on all of your favorite sports and events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and the action. BetOnline is where the game starts. Speaking of the NFL, which NFL stars move the betting lines the most? Starting on July the 18th, Locked On gives you the 50 most valuable players in the NFL from the odds makers at BetOnline. Available July 18th on Locked On NFL, wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Let's go back through some more sounds that I've got here. New one, Jalen Duren. Why does he have that sound? Well, that is the beginning of the song Girls on Film by the band Duran Duran. I think that should be self-explanatory. Flaming Mo Wagner. Simpsons episode, Flaming Mo's. De'Aaron Fox. That's the theme song for NFL on Fox. There you go. Franz Wagner. It's the start of the song Take Me Out. Or not the start of the song, a part of the song called Take Me Out by the band Franz Ferdinand. So the Franz combination there. Giannis. That is the way that Australian professional sports broadcaster, reporter, and Greek man Basil Zemplis decided to read the name Giannis Antetokounmpo about a year ago. Now, I don't know how you can be a professional sports reporter and Greek and still not know how to pronounce a Greek name and Greece's most high-profile athlete, but Basil still managed to do that. How you can call him Giannis when you're Greek, I have no idea.
Giggity.
That's Quagmire from Family Guy. You know what that's about. Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert.
So what is this? This was a meme that was going around a couple of years ago, and you go into Google Translate and you put a word in, and then it translates it to French, and you play it, and then you play that song. Then there's an Italian version as well, and yeah, my son was looking at it and go, can you do something like this on your show? And I went, yeah, let's put in Rudy Gobert. And when you put it into Google Translate, it pronounces it Gobert, and then it translates to Gobert in French, and then we play the song, and he put all that together. Gogo Badadze.
Problem with my Gogo-mobile. Gogo-mobile? No, not the dart. Not the dart.
Yeah, that's an old Australian TV commercial for the Yellow Pages. Remember the Yellow Pages? Where the guy who's actually a legend, this actor, appears in another one of these sound drops later on. But it's basically just talking about a car called a Gogo-mobile, and he's trying to find mechanics who can find parts for it. Gogo. That's the association. And this one is one I play for Yusuf Nurkic because, of course, how many times I've been really excited about Nurkic, and then something lets us down. He's not fit. He gets hurt. Something weird happens. So this is from Michael Scott in The Office.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
This one is regarding Obi Toppin, because before the draft and in Summer League, people were just banging on about how good he was going to be. People were like drafting him as a rookie inside the top 100, and it never made any sense to me. And I pushed back against it, of course. I think he finished 350th as a rookie. So this is from Star Wars.
I don't want to hear any more about Obi-Wan.
This is the same guy who does the Go-Go, the Dart ad, and it's talking about Donovan Mitchell.
It's Don. Is good.
Don is a company in Australia that makes things like hams and salamis. And that was the ad. Just say, Don is good. We know this one. When we want to drop a player in fantasy basketball, you all know who Jack Armstrong is.
Get that garbage out of here!
Toronto Raptors announcer that every time there's a block, that's what he says. I've played that sound drop so many times. Jaylen Brown.
JB, you've done it again.
Obviously, his initials are JB. JB is an iconic Australian company, JB Hi-Fi, that started actually just around the corner from my house in a little shop in Keilor East, and is now like a massive Australian-wide and I think international, New Zealand as well, sells TVs, games, computers, houseware, just all electronic sort of stuff. When players are resting, this is from Game of Thrones.
I'm not tired.
He used it a lot for Kevin Love. But anyone who's really resting, shout out Malcolm Brogdon. That's Joffrey Baratheon. Didn't get to play this one at all last year because he just didn't play.
I'm a fun guy.
It's obviously Kawhi Leonard when he was announced or having his first press conference as a member of the Raptors, and he did that weird laugh, I guess we'll say. And this one here for James Johnson, who I don't know how often we're going to play this one again, but it is a song called Jimmy Johnson. It's a long sound drop, but back when he was getting a lot of playing time, this is a song by the band Lagwagon. It's called Jimmy Johnson. Before I had the Big Chungus one, whenever I was talking about Nikola Jokic, because I was very big onto Jokic early on. I think I did have him as second in Rookie of the Year that year, where he was a rookie, and people would be they didn't buy in. I said, look, the guy's pretty good. He's pretty good. So it just reminded me of Larry David.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
This is the LeBron James kid meme.
LeBron James.
I like this one. I don't think we're going to get to say it much, but Olivier Sarr, who played for the Thunder last season, someone pointed out it sounds like Hermione Granger saying Leviosa, which is, that spell from Harry Potter.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
What else have we got here? Oh, yeah, Tyler Hero.
Everyone has a hero.
True.
0 people shouldn't have a hero.
People will often add suggestions in and like, oh, you should play Jack Harlow when he talks about Tyler Hero. Like, I could not give a shit about Jack Harlow. It has no impact on me whatsoever. This to me is Logan Paul. That's a Logan Paul song called Hero. It's one of the funniest things, unintentionally funny, that you will ever see. It is so cringeworthy, it's funny, and it makes me laugh. So that's why I play it. I'm not going to play Jack Harlow, shout out to whoever he is, sing a song about Tyler Hero. Sorry. This is for Mo Bamba.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What about Sheck Wes? Again, file that under Harlow Jack. Not interested. That's just me having fun. This is Big Shaq.
I tell a man's not hot.
Derek White.
Maximum Derek.
All right. Hey, Maximum Derek, not because I think he's maximum or he's the best player in the world. I think he's a really good player. But I think people overestimate how good I think he is. But that's just the name of a character from The Good Place, played by Jason Mantzoukas, called Derek. And then in one episode, he calls himself Maximum Derek. And that's the clip from that. Mitchell Robinson. There is a player in the Australian Football League called Mitch Robinson. So this is just commentary talking about him.
And Mitch Robinson says, I'll take it from here.
Of course, this one is Kendrick Perkins butchering one of the easiest names in the world.
When you look at Moses Moody.
This is for Sharif Cooper, who honestly was horrible in Summer League. I thought he'd be a pretty good player. Doesn't look like it. Maybe he can be, but man, he looks rough. But this is from the 90s sitcom Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
What's my theme music?
There's not many Jeffs left in the NBA. There's Jeff Green. But this is from the beginning of 22 Jump Street, the movie, with, I was going to call him Channing Tatum.
My name is Jeff.
What is this clip? Nice, Gary! Oh, yeah, that's for Gary Harris. This is a long explanation. That is Matthew Wade, Australian cricket wicketkeeper. What his, I guess, catchphrase is whenever Nathan Lyon is bowling, and Nathan Lyon's nickname is Gary, based on an Australian football player. And then every time he would bowl a good ball, Matthew Wade would say, nice, Gary, at a very, very loud volume and continually. The original, well, you know what this is.
Hello there.
It was the original one that I used for OG Anunoby. I've got another one for him now. This is one that I used to use for Mark Gasol. I don't really have one that maybe I can use it for Mark Williams.
Oh, hi, Mark.
It's from, I forgot how funny that is. It's from The Room, the dumbest movie of all time. The quotes on that movie are, I didn't hit her. I can't with that movie. Please watch it. It's so bad. But that's what that is. This one.
Oh, no!
Oh, no. That's just anytime I want to say, oh, no. But it's from the video where the guy... It was also... Oh, where's the Greg one? I don't even have the Greg one still. Maybe I do somewhere. When the guy comes in and the kangaroo's got his dog in a headlock. and he goes and punches the kangaroo in the head. That's what that's from.
Percentages.
That's Stephen A. Smith complaining about the Knicks drafting Kristaps Porzingis and getting his name wrong. What a shocker that is. This one here, Jason Preston. We didn't get to see much of him, but it's from Can't Hardly Wait.
Preston? I like that guy.
Preston!
2 for 2.
Australian cricket commentary legend, Richie Benaud, who says too funnily, and people would meme that for years and years and years based on a lot of the 12th Man stuff, which is a comedy Billy Birmingham comedian who would do cricket parody CDs and albums. And it's Richie saying 2-2-2. He says that funny. So whenever someone has 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 2 threes in a game, I call that a Richie Benaud, and then I can play that.
2 for 2.
Ravishing Rick Rubio. It's based on Ravishing Rick Rude, the wrestler, and this is his music. It annoys me that Robert Williams has been nicknamed the Time Lord when it's just so easily that he's the Rock DJ because his name's Robbie Williams, and Robbie Williams sings Rock DJ. Now, this one is one that I don't think I'm going to get used very often, but I'm going to play it now because it's one of the funniest clips you'll ever hear. Rocket Rodney Hood. Right, Rocket's just a nickname that some people called Rodney, and it was based on this Australian football coach called Rodney Eade, and everyone called him Rocket. And then this leak came out of him in a coach's box abusing players, and this is just one of that. Just look up Rocket Eade, Will Minson, and look on YouTube, watch the whole clip. But this is Rocket.
Rocket, we can't think. Sorry, mate. Come on.
Then we got David Roddy Piper, based on Rowdy Roddy Piper. David Roddy, of course, drafted by the Grizzlies this year.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
That is from the movie We Live that Rowdy Roddy Piper is in, and that's what that quote is. All right, for Danilo Gallinari.
Hands off my cock!
All right, Gallinari was often called the Rooster. Il Gallo in Italian means the rooster. His name is Gallo. That's what his nickname was at points, so people called him the Rooster. So I just took that a step further and called him the Italian cock, because rooster, cock, yes, interchangeable. It's funnier. Italian, just put that on there. And then there was something from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I think. Whatever the most recent one is, I can't remember the name of it. From Falco, where if you do certain moves in a row, it combines 2 of his catchphrases to sound like it's saying hands off my cock, but he's not actually saying that, it just sounds like it.
Hands off my cock!
Alperen Şengün, the delicate dancer.
It's a delicate dance in just 17 steps.
All right, so what does all this mean? I think that Alperen Şengün looks like Andrew from Big Mouth, the animated show on Netflix. Right, just Google those 2 guys. It's pretty uncanny. And that is Andrew talking about his process for masturbating, where he needs 17 steps to get things ready. And that's what that is.
It's a delicate dance in just 17 steps.
I think that's a good nickname. Shake Milton. Why is Bruce Brown called the Shark?
Baby shark,
You know the song's Baby Shark, but I was trying to think of a good nickname for Bruce Brown. He was coming to prominence, and I was I've got to call him Brucey. I went, Brucey, that's the name of the shark from Finding Nemo, which was named after the shark from Jaws. But I took the reference from Nemo. So instead of calling him Brucey, I just put it to Shark, and then Baby Shark was the song at that time, and that's where that came from. Xavier Simpson.
Simpson, eh?
Self-explanatory from The Simpsons. Zach Levine. It's the beginning of the song Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne. Simple, I think. This is for Jeremy Sohan.
Sohan now!
Haven't played that one very often. What about this one?
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
So this is one I use for inconsistent players. Originally, it was for Al Farouk Aminu, the Chief. Now it's pushed on to Jay Crowder, guys that will have 20 points one game and then 4 points on 1 of 9 shooting. It is Gennaro Gattuso, Italian football legend who was a manager, I think in Greece at the time, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. One of the funniest interviews you'll ever see. If you ever see just like even the gif of it without the noise when he's doing like this, it's one of the funniest memes, and you'll know it automatically. All right, this one is one I get questions about all the time. It's the double royal Julius Randle. So why? It's a long run up for that for sure. Why is that? Okay, Julius Randle, his first season in the Knicks fans hated him because every time he would get it, he would try and drive to the paint and chuck a spin move and then end up in a turnover or a missed shot. Right? He had that one good season and then he devolved back to that. Just bully into the paint, try a spin move, and that's it. So, all the spin moves comes the Spin Doctor. This song is called Two Princes by the Spin Doctor. So I didn't want to call him just the Spin Doctor. So from Two Princes, Two, Double, Prince, Royal. Double Royal. I find the best nicknames are the ones where there's no actual real, like, where's the obvious link, but it's like 4 or 5 steps removed. And that's what I feel this one is. So that's why he's the Double Royal. Hamadou Diallo.
Stop. Hammer time.
MC Hammer. Tobias Harris.
I think I am a TH.
T to the H.
Yeah, TH for life.
The Thick Hogsman. So I was talking about Tobias Harris one year. It's like, he's just boring. Like, he just sort of does what he does. He sits in these middle ranks. It doesn't really go up. It doesn't really go down. He sort of sits there. I need to give him some excitement. So then I was watching Big Mouth and they were talking about someone being a thick hogsman, meaning that they have a thick hog, obviously. And they were calling them THs. And guess what Tobias Harris's nickname, or not nickname, initials are? TH. So TH is the Thick Hogsman from Big Mouth. It's for Jaden Springer, who we haven't really seen play much. He did play in a little bit in Summer League, but that is a nickname for Jake Stringer, which sounds, I guess, a little bit like Jaden Springer. Just wanted to play that song or play that sound. Thomas Bryant, the Tank. That's the music from Thomas the Tank Engine. The God of Hammers, JT Thor.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
That's a clip from Thor Ragnarok, and in that movie, Odin, criticizes Thor and says, what are you, the God of Hammers? And that's why I'm calling him the God of Hammers. That's why I've got that Thor clip. Why do I play this for Anthony Edwards? Why do I call Anthony Edwards Goose? Well, you may have seen Top Gun Maverick, but have you seen the original Top Gun? And Maverick's co-pilot, who dies, spoiler alert for a 40-year-old movie, his name is Goose. The actor's name, who plays Goose, is Anthony Edwards.
The world.
You know who this is for? It's for Hassan Whiteside. It's because watching this guy play, to be honest, a little bit prior to this year, because he's actually played all right as a backup, he was the worst player who got minutes and just the consistent non-efforts defensively, selling out for blocks, the most frustrating guy that you could ever find, who would still get pumped up by people as like defensive player of the year, or maybe he should be this and this and this, when I just think he sucks. And that is from John Ralphio Saperstein from Parks and Rec when he's talking about his own sister.
Jonas Vasu Inuwansas.
That's Charles Barkley not knowing how to pronounce a name. And guess what this one is?
It's Big Vucevic.
Kendrick Perkins not knowing how to pronounce a name. Now, this one's for either Kemba Walker or Lonnie Walker.
Hello.
Australian legendary radio commercial for a company that used to be called Bargain Tiles and now is known as National Tiles. And the guy's name is Frank Walker. And every ad, he starts off by saying,
hello.
Frank Walker, National Tiles. And that's the Walker. Jay Sean Tate.
Even the wild thing's gone well. I can't do much about that.
Well, Australian cricketer by the name of Sean Tate, so Jay Sean Tate, and Sean Tate's nickname is the Wild Thing, and that's just a piece of commentary there. Why do I call James Wiseman Blunty? Well, there is a song by James Blunt called Wise Man, and that is that song.
But what about scarves?
OG.
Balenciaga
Stop,
ones.
OG. You better stop, OG.
That is Serge Ibaka on his little YouTube channel, talking to OG Anunoby, where OG Anunoby is taking the piss and telling Serge that he is the one that told Serge Ibaka about wearing scarves and really getting under his skin. And Serge, who thinks he is very fashionable, was not having it at all.
As Greg runs in, we realise this could get dangerous.
I do have it. It's the start of the Oh No clip where that kangaroo is holding the dog in a headlock. And then we've got this one. So that is the theme song for The Undertaker, a wrestler from WWE. That's I use for Dwayne Deadman because Dead Man, The Undertaker's nickname was the Dead Man. I think that's pretty straightforward. And this is a new one for Will Barton.
No, you Will! No, he's ready to sack that. Run, Will! Give it off quick!
It's from that same clip as the Rocket one, Rocket Eid, Will Mince and Spray. I'd love to have played that uncensored. It is honestly one of the funniest, I think, 1 minute clips you'll ever see. I might link it below. I don't know, especially for those of you in Australia. It is one of the funniest things this is a coach abusing his players. And it is, I got to play it again.
No, you Will! No, he's ready to sack that. Run, Will! Give it off quick!
All right, so that's all of the sound drops that I have here. I might run through some other nicknames that I have. John Collins, I call him the Baptist because it's John the Baptist. Religious figure. I assume that's pretty obvious. I sometimes call Clint Capella the kerner. Kerning is typesetting, like where you put, like when you're printing things, how the words and letters sit together. But if you use an inappropriate font and it's not kerned correctly, and especially if it's capitalized, the name Clint with an L and an I together may look like a very rude word that starts with C. So you just got to be really careful about what font you use when you're capitalizing the word Clint. The L and the I might start to look like a U, and then you can put that together as to what that all means. What other nicknames do I have for people? I'm not running. I'll say we're running out. I'm not. I'm just going to go through the teams and see who else we have. Boston, is there anyone on there? No, I think we've got all of those guys. For Charlotte, is there anyone interesting there? No, I think that's most of it. I reckon Mark Williams, there's got to be something coming for him. And no, I am not using the nickname that the Australian football coach of the same name had because it is racist, so I won't be doing that.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I think I'll probably do something like that for him. So I think that's probably most. I think most nicknames have sound drops. Andre Drummond doesn't. He's the big avocado because there was one game where he went down to Mexico to play and then he couldn't play because his eyes were swollen because he was allergic to avocado, and he calls himself the Big Penguin, which is, again, pretty bad nickname, so I just changed it to the Big Avocado. There's Goran Dragic, who the guys at Locked On Heat called the Iron Shoulder because of the way he used to drive to the lane, knock his shoulder into people and they'd go flying. We were joking that his shoulder was made out of iron. That one's, I think, pretty straightforward there. Larry Markin, I guess he could get that oh hi mark, but it doesn't really sit there. Oh, the Discman, Cedi Osman. Okay, it's obviously Cedi Osman or Jedi Osman, but I'm just taking the piss of people who mispronounce names, and someone told me that they had someone who legitimately would call him CD, which is obviously CD, compact disc. The way that you used to play compact discs, like after a Walkman, was a Discman. So he is the Discman, Cedi Osman. So that's why I say his name that way. Go through the Dallas roster. Is there anyone on that team with the nickname? There's nothing really good for Luka. I can't really think of anything interesting for him. No, nothing really on that team. Oh, yeah, actually, that's not true. Christian Wood, the crucifix. Because a crucifix is made of wood, and it's very important to Christians. Christian Wood. Maga Porter Jr., because there was some inkling that maybe Michael Porter Jr. may have been a Trump supporter. He was obviously anti-vax as well, so he was MAGA Porter Jr. I don't think there's anybody else. Oh, Bones Highland, the big stiffy. Well, Bones, Boner, big stiffy. I think you can put all of that together. I don't think that needs too much. Oh, actually, what about Jamal Murray? People always ask me, why do you call Jamal Murray the headmaster? Is he big into education? Big teacher? No. Jamal Murray Instagram lived a video of him receiving fellatio. Therefore, he was, I guess, a master at head, I guess. I don't know. Headmaster. Jamal Murray. Oh, my God. What else have we got here? Kevin Knox, the Fort Knox. Pretty simple. Can't believe he's still in the NBA and he is getting a run this year. The depressed penis. Get that question a lot. Why is Sadiq Bey the depressed penis? Sad. Dick. Depressed penis. Is it a stretch? Maybe. Is it funny? I think so. Dante DiVincenzo. Why is he called the Big Ragu? I didn't make this one up. People called him that because of the Italianness of his name. And, ragu, Italian sauce for pasta. So that is that. I've got all the other Warriors ones there done. Kevin Porter Jr., Cousin Kev. Why do I call him Cousin Kev? Because when he was traded to Houston and he started to put up some good names, there were so many people who were getting in there. And like when I was saying, hey, I don't think he's that great for fantasy. And everyone would like, you don't know what you're talking about. You just have got it in for him. Why do you hate him so much? He's actually unbelievable. He's going to be a star. You can't drop 50 in the league without being awesome. I'm like, why is every single person providing hate comments to me about Kevin Porter? Are they all his relatives? Is it everyone's cousin they're getting in here to defend? Like, why is there so many people being so aggressively defensive about Kevin Porter? So I just call him Cousin Kev because my assumption was that everyone was related to him. Therefore, that's why they were being so aggressive in defending his honor for whatever reason. I have no idea what the reason actually was. Why is Garrison Matthews called Gary Bird? Well, it sounds like Larry Bird, and he's white and he's a shooter. And so I didn't make that nickname up, but someone didn't. It rolls off the tongue pretty well. Budrick Healed, just being funny with Buddy and just, is Buddy short for something? Yeah, it's short for Budrick. It's obviously not, because his name's Shavano. But maybe I should just call him Shavano a little bit more. I have called him that in the past. Timothy John McConnell, that's what the TJ stands for. That one's pretty straightforward there as well. Bob Covington. Yeah, okay. That one's easy. The Duck, Luke Canard, because in French, Canard means duck. It's spelt differently, but it sounds the same. It's actually Canard, I'm sure. But it's the same word, basically, Canard. Go through the Lakers roster. I don't think there's anyone there that really is getting nicknamed. No, not really. On to Memphis. Is there anyone there that I was looking at with interesting names? I don't think so. Jaren Jackson, obviously Triple J. That's not an original nickname by any stretch. No one on that team. Tyler Hero, we did for Miami. No, nothing. I think we're getting towards the end of all of these guys who do have nicknames. Just excuse me while I go through every team and try and figure it out. Punch Bob. Why is Bobby Portis called Punch Bob? Because I don't know, about 5 or 6 years ago in the preseason, he punched Nikola Mirotic in the face, broke his cheekbone, and Bobby Portis was able to take the starting job. They were battling for that starting job. The battle obviously got too real. Portis broke his face, and basically Mirotic is out of the league since then. So that's why I called him Punch Bob, obviously to rhyme with SpongeBob. Why is he called Shit Bloke? Well, just adding on to the SquarePants, just something else to add in there, and you're a pretty shit bloke if you break your teammate's face. I would have thought. Onto the Minnesota Timberwolves. Towns, there's nothing really there with his nickname. I think everyone else is... Torian Prince, the artist formerly known as Torian Prince. Obviously, the musical artist Prince changed his name to a symbol and then often was referred to as the artist formerly known as Prince. So he is the artist formerly known as Torian Prince because of the Prince correlation, I guess. I think that's probably the best way of saying that. What else is there here? Zion doesn't have one. But I can't really think of anything good for him. Rowan Barrett, his name is just Rowan. Why is Evan Fournier called the diseased scrotum? Because just Google Fournier. And Fournier means an infected and diseased scrotum. That's what Fournier means. That's why he is that. Jalen Brunson, the burner. Yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch, like a Bunsen burner from your old science class. And he's Bunsen. It's okay. It works though. I think it works okay. Why is Jeremiah Robinson Earl called Joe Rogan? Well, JRE is the name of Joe Rogan's podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience. So that one pushes across that way. There's so many guys on the Thunder, man. Their roster's absolutely chock full of things at the moment. What about Teo Maladon, the Salt Flake? And I call him Theo Maladon because so many people mispronounce his name as Theo instead of Teo. And Maldon is a brand of salt flakes. And Maladon, pretty close. So he's the Salt Flake, and I call him Theo Maladon as well. The Magic, I don't really think there's anybody there. Oh, no, that's not true. What about John Isaac, the yokai? A yokai is the name of a Japanese spirit, a ghost, someone that we don't see. And we haven't seen Jonathan Isaac play in almost 2 years. Actually, it probably is exactly 2 years right now. So basically, it's just me saying, is this guy actually real or is he a figment of our imagination? So the yokai, Jonathan Isaac. On the Sixers, why is Charles Bassey Goldfinger? Because Goldfinger was a James Bond movie and the name of the woman who sung the theme song, Goldfinger, her name was Shirley Bassey. So Bassey, obviously, Charles Bassey, Shirley Bassey. D'Anthony Melton, why is he the wave pool? Well, Melton is a suburb/town in Victoria, just outside of Melbourne, and one of the things that Melton was famous for back in the day was the wave pool there, called Melton Waves, where it was one of the first real wave pools in the Melbourne area. You drive out there to jump in the wave pool. So Melton is the wave pool. The association for me with Melton is of a wave pool, and that is where that came from. Why is Matisse Thybulle the painter? Because there is a painter called Matisse. I think that one, once you know that, is pretty straightforward. Jay Crowder, we talked about his one already as to why he has got that sound drop. I feel like I used to have one for Dario Saric, but honestly, just for the life of me, cannot remember what it was. So we'll forget about that. On the Blazers, Damian Lillard doesn't have one. We've done Nurkic's one. Yeah, we're getting there. The Sacramento Kings, we have De'Aaron Fox, we had Harrison Barnes. Why is Kevin Huerter called Fanta Pants? Well, he's got orange hair. Fanta is a drink that traditionally was orange, and a nickname given to people with red hair in Australia is Fanta Pants, because when you look inside their pants, there are maybe things in there that are coloured orange. That's why. That's the nickname Fanta Pants for people with red hair. Don't think there's anyone else on that list. For the Spurs, is there anyone? I don't think so. Joshie Richardson? No, he didn't have a sexy nickname, did he? The Raptors, OG Anunoby obviously sounds like Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's why he had the Jedi and the hello there, which is, of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Why is Chris Boucher the wiki? Me and Matt Smith had this discussion. There was a cricket player from South Africa called Mark Boucher. The surname was written the same as Boucher, and Matt's like, why isn't Chris Boucher called Chris Boucher? And I thought, there's a good nickname in that. So his position was a wicket keeper, Mark Boucher, and that is often shortened to Wiki. So Chris Boucher is the Wiki. And if you're going to write it down, it's not Wiki as in Wikipedia, W-I-K-I. It's W-I-C-K-Y, or I'd accept C-K-E-Y. Wiki, as in keeping wickets, not Wikipedia. Utah, we've done Donovan Mitchell there already. I don't really see any other nicknames on that list. No, I don't. Did Malik Beasley have one? I don't recall him having one. Oh, Jared Vanderbilt Bar. Well, that's obvious. It's Bilt Bar. And then on to the Washington Wizards for the final team. Why do I call Kyle Kuzma the future MVP? Because after his summer league performance as a rookie, Laker fans were going bananas, and people would and then he shot like 45% from three as a rookie. People go, man, this guy's a future star. He's unbelievable. He's going to be pushing for things. Man, I can see MVPs in his future. And I was like, guys, and there's no way. There's absolutely no way any of this is happening. So facetiously, I called him the future MVP. Do I think he's going to be an MVP? Of course I don't. But so many people were fighting with me about the future bona fides of Kyle Kuzma that I just facetiously called him the future MVP. And that, guys, will do it for me today. Don't forget to follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on the Odyssey app. If you are here on YouTube, follow me, shout it out, subscribe, comment, all those things. And don't forget to check out Locked On NBA, 30 minutes every day on the NBA. Make it your second listen. If I left out any nicknames that I didn't explain, can you drop them in the comments here on YouTube and I'll answer them. I tried to get through as many as I could. I'll be back tomorrow talking about Summer League. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.